What is going on, everyone? It's AP over here at Rumpier Sports. We are bringing you the Strokes Gained podcast with we got Uncle T, we got Hoop, we got our two main guys, and we're gonna I'm feeling really good about this week, guys. We finally got a stacked field. I feel like these past few weeks where the field, you got a couple good guys, and then you got a bunch of just random golfers. This week we got a stacked week, and I'm feeling really good. Real quick, before we get to these two guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and it helps us out a ton. And last housekeeping note here: we're gonna have a ton of it's Super Bowl week, or I guess we got 2 weeks, but we're gonna have so much content for the Super Bowl. We're gonna be breaking down the game from betting angles, DFS angles. We're even going to be looking at our own Tournament of Champions and taking a look at the 40 members who qualified. They're going to have a shot to win a ton of cash this week. I think like 15K is on the table that Rumpier Sports is throwing up. It might be a little bit more than that, but it's going to be a fun next couple of weeks. Uncle T, let's kick it over to you. How was your week last week, man?
Yeah, I struggled a little bit with the golf. There was a couple core pieces that we missed last week. So full disclosure, Sammy Burns and Strill Daddy kind of let me down. Also, my pick to win, Scotty Scheffler, obviously didn't do so well. I wish I would have known he had a new set of irons that he was trying out last week. I wish I would have got that information. But at any rate, I did get 1 4 of 6 through on the weekend. Thought I was dead, and ended up all 4 of those guys got in the top 8, I believe. So ended up getting a little bit of return back. Saturday, I did a pretty good job on the Showdown slate. So again, sometimes when you think your lineups are dead for your main slate, you can always look at our Showdown content and be able to maybe get a little bit of money back there. So all in all, it wasn't bad. The football, as you know, I went 0 for 2 in football Sunday and did not do well on the gridiron. So looking to have a big week here in golf. Talk about this course here this week with you guys.
Yeah, I hear you. Hoop, how was your week, man? Hopefully it was better than my week and Uncle T's week.
I had a decent week. I mean, I was right there. I mean, my main guys were Finau, Harmon, Nick Taylor. I mean, we talked about Nick Taylor pretty extensively last week. He just continues to play solid golf. He fell apart a little bit on the weekend, but made the cut, got through. He was one of our preferred value plays. Solid week. I mean, did okay. I mean, definitely made a little bit of money, but nothing spectacular. But finally we get one of these big boy fields. I mean, we have some of the top golfers in the world coming out to play, and that's different than what we've seen. And at first glance on the pricing, looks like they kind of priced up some of the guys that have been playing recently. So I think that's something we can kind of look to take advantage of as well.
Yeah, I hear you guys. A few quick things before we dive into the Farmers. We got a promo code going on that I highly recommend. If you're not a member, use this code Workbench21. It's going to get you 25% off your first payment with us. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. We're doing a revamp of the website. The design is going to look awesome. It's going to look a lot more user-friendly. The playbooks should look, a lot smoother. The site should run smoother. We're going to have our store up. So if you want some gear, we even got some special Workbench shirts coming. We might drop, some sneak peek maybe in our Discord. So you got to sign up, get in a Discord, use the code Workbench21 to get access. But all that stuff is coming real soon. I imagine within the next week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe we'll push real hard to get it up before the Super Bowl. Guys, let's dive into the Farmers. As I said, we're at Torrey Pines this week, the South and North course, and it's a stacked field. I'm going to throw it over to my man, Uncle T. Talk to us about the course breakdown this week.
Yeah, guys, after, looking at this week's course, at Torrey, we started off the year in early January, at the 2 courses over in Hawaii that, obviously are just birdie fest. You know what I mean? They're easy fairways to hit, easy greens to hit, and you got to make birdies on those 2 courses. Last week, when they come into the West Coast there, the first tournament, same thing. We don't have that this week, guys. We've got our first, what we call big boy course. This course is long now. We've got 2 courses this week. So the South course will be the host course, and there'll be 3 of the 4 rounds will be played there. So each player will play on the North and South Thursday, Friday, and then obviously top 65 and ties will make the weekend. Those will all be on the South course. The South course will have shot length. The North course, I do not believe does. So that's a little bit about the course itself, but some things I'm looking at this week more so probably than normal. For me anyway, is I'm definitely looking more at the bomber side. They had a lot of rain over the weekend, so I think it softened the course up a little bit. So, while you think the greens may be easier to hit because of the softness, you won't get the rollouts, at least that I think, on the drives, especially for the, quote unquote, shorter hitters. So for me, I'm going to target those longer hitters a little bit. And the North course plays about 7,300 yards. The South course around 7,700. So guys, if we factor in to think that the rain may have a little bit, to do with the ball rolling out, that South course could play 7,900 yards, if you can think about that. So, so those are a little bit, kind of things about the course. I'm probably right now going to target more of the North course on Thursday, because it does look like there's a little bit of a calmness of the weather Thursday morning. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we dig in here.
So the cliff notes I got, it's a big boy course. We talk about this every week. Is this a short hitter course? Is it a big boy course? Torrey Pines is a big boy course. We want the studs out there. I mean, it's difficult, hard to hit fairways. Uncle T, great breakdown. All right, crew, this is how we do it. We're going to go tier by tier. We're going to break down the different players, and we're going to fine tune our player pool. Again, the playbook will be up tomorrow morning, potentially tonight. Our core plays will be up tomorrow. The cash chart will be up tomorrow as well, which for PGA, it's fantastic. It's good for tournaments too. It's titled cash chart, but look, this is like the best place. If you're not mixing in some of those guys into your tournaments, I think you're doing it wrong. What you got to do is mix in a few of those guys and then find some, unique little leverage spots. I think that's the optimal approach, especially in PGA. Hoop, let's kick it over to you. Let's go 10K and up. Talk to me about this range. Who's popping out for you?
Yeah, so I mean, like we said, I mean, the 10K and up range looks a lot different than it has so far this year. And we have some big names. Jon Rahm is back, Rory's back, Finau's up there. Now, Finau's one of the guys that I kind of talked about that got the big price bump. Some of these guys that have been playing recently got a bump, and Finau's one of them. He's not a guy that's typically up in this range. He's been playing, he played the last 2 weeks when a lot of guys didn't. He's coming off a T4, so he gets a big price bump, 10-7. I mean, I'm a Finau guy, and I love Tony Finau. Don't get me wrong. I'm not paying the 10-7 for him. I'm just not going to do it. Like, he doesn't win all that often, and he doesn't necessarily have to win at 10-7. I mean, if he gets a top 5, you're going to feel good about it, but I'm not paying 10-7 for Tony Finau this week, and I love Tony Finau. I honestly can probably count on one hand how many times I haven't played Tony Finau when he's in an event. I'm always on Finau. I'm not paying 10-7. At the top, you got Rahm, Rory. I'm going to have exposure to one, and right now I'm kind of leaning Rahm. I do think Rory kind of does have a big season this year. I think he does bounce back and get some wins, but it was tough with him last year. Like, he wasn't all that good after the restart. He doesn't win. Like, if he's in contention going into Sunday, it falls apart. If he's not in contention, he makes a run and still falls short. I want to see something out of Rory before I'm going to pay a big premium for him. So, right now I'm going to lean Rahm over Rory. I haven't looked at ownership yet, but I feel pretty good with Rahm. So I'm going to be on Rahm, not going to be on Rory, not going to be on Finau. 10-1 for Patrick Reed at a Bombers course, I think is probably one of the easier fades for me. I'm not a Patrick Reed guy as is. And when you bring, big time distance into the equation, no, thank you. I'll be off him. Xander Schauffele is a guy I do have interest in. He is a guy that is just so damn steady. Sometimes he goes a little overlooked because he doesn't necessarily rack up the wins, but he is always right there in contention. It's very few events where he comes out and lays a complete egg. So I really like him at 10-4. So up top, it's going to be Rahm and it's going to be Xander for me. And, I'm probably fading the other guys and I feel pretty good about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like that, and I was really curious to see where Tony Finau would what you had mentioned about him, because his course history is good here. He's got multiple top tens, and 5 made cuts over the last 5 years, all within the top 20. So like, I feel like I love the price tag, and I love what you said, because if you play him, that's gonna take you're picking choosing your spots. It means you're fading some of these other guys. And so I really like what you had to say there, because I do think he's going to get some ownership this week. And if he does, he makes for a great fade in tournaments. Uncle T, talk to me about the 10K and up range.
Yeah, I agree with a few of the things that Hoop said there for sure. Rom, in my opinion, I think from the numbers I see, is definitely going to be the higher owned of the 5. Followed probably by Finau next. I think are going to be the 2 higher owned. And I agree with you on Finau. It's a guy that Hoop and I have talked about on this show, the last couple of weeks. Is we think he's going to have a big year. We both like him, and he's just very talented. But I'm going to tell you what, after what I saw last week, and I still think he's, clearly he's very good. But I tell you, he keeps getting in the hunt on Sunday, and he just keeps backing up, guys. I mean, he just can't close. And I'm not saying that he won't close. I'm just saying that I think the more times he gets there on Sunday with a chance to win, either in the final group or the second to last group, and he doesn't get there, I just think it's going to start wearing on him. And in a field like last week, where it was a lesser field for sure, it wasn't a stacked field, I just think, for me, that along with the price tag this week, I'm out on Finau. And as much as I like the bomber angle that I mentioned earlier, I'm going to pretty much be out on Rahm and Rory too. And I know that's probably not the way many people will go. And I'm okay with probably Rahm if out of the 2. And I agree with what Hoop said about Rory. I mean, he got a little bit of a jet lag, and he played 2 good rounds over in Abu Dhabi last week. And then he faded up. I shouldn't say faded. He still ended up 3rd, I think. But, he wasn't able to close either. So for me, I'm actually going to probably pass on the top 3 guys and go down to Xander. And the reason I like Xander is it's not course history, right? Because he's actually, for whatever reason, struggled at this course. But he's had a little bit of time off. He's one of the better ball strikers on tour. He's coming off, I think he's got somewhere upwards of almost 20 rounds in a row, or 20 tournaments in a row of a top 25. So he's consistent. Impressive. He's a good ball striker. He can go low. Not that you got to go low here, but he can make birdies still. So I like my top guy in this top tier is definitely Xander Schauffele. And I'm going to slightly disagree with Hoop here. I actually like Patty Reed this week, and I'll tell you why.
Of course you do.
Well, listen though. Hear me out. So while he's not the longest off the tee, these greens are smaller to hit. They're small. So when you get up around these greens and you're not hitting them, he's one of the better short game players on tour, to where I think that's going to come into play on both of these courses this week. So where he may lose a little off the tee as far as distance, I think he could be a guy that I'll sprinkle in some lineups. But for sure, for me, Xander would be 1 and Reed 2. But I'm probably going to pass on them top 3 guys, and I think it'd be contrarian, because I think most people will start with one of those top guys.
Yeah, any field that now has Patrick Reed, it's starting to shape up what's happening here. I think we don't even need to go to the analysis. I think Uncle T is a Patrick Reed guy, and Hoop is not a Patrick Reed guy. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, that's too good. Yeah, guys, I agree with a lot of what you said. I feel like this range is going to be really important. My read on it is Jon Rahm and Rory, in my opinion, relative to the other guys, give us so much win equity up top. I'm going to multi-entry, enter this week. I'm not like a 150 guy at all. I'm a 3 to 5, 3 to 6 type of build. I'm honestly going to split and go 50% Rory, 50% Jon Rahm. So just hear me out with this. Jon Rahm, 2nd, T5th, and then we'll skip 18. T29, it is what it is, but then he won in 2017. Rory, T3, T5. So between the 2 of them, there is no other combination. And I don't think you'll be able to play them together. You would have to fully punt down the 6K range. Maybe we'll find a guy down there. I think I'm going to make a flag plant and just have a Rahm build and then a Rory build. And then I'm going to mix and match from there. And then the guys I mix and match with, that's where I'm going to get really tight with my player pool. So I'm not playing a ton of guys. I'm still going to have my tight player pool. But for me, I'm starting with one of the two, Rahm or Rory. I think I'm going to fade Finau. I love what Hoop had to say about Finau there. Xander, I get you, Uncle T. I don't know what it is. Like, his course history here sucks. Like, you missed the cut 4 out of the last 5 times, and I got to pay a premium for you. I know this guy's a big game hunter. I know that it was, it's probably not indicative of his game. I just think I'm going to use it as a reason to move off.
Yeah, and I think if I could just cap it, the reason I kind of am going to start with Xander and Reed, they're clearly going to be about half of what for sure, half of what Rahm and Finau will be owned. And for me, as we go on here in these other tiers, these next 2 tiers, I like quite a few guys in the 9K and even in the 8K. So for me in my build right now, that's more of the reason I'm staying off those top 2 guys, not because they're not good plays.
Yeah, I got you, Uncle T. So here's the other thing this week. What happened this week, guys, is I won $100 off of Uncle T. The Chiefs, they got the job done. They got the win. And me being a nice guy, I'm going to throw that into a tournament this week. I'm going to give him 50%. We're not going to play Patrick Reed in that lineup. We're not going to play Xander. We're going to play John Rahm or Rory so that Uncle T can get the winners this week. That's what we're going to do. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely can understand the Xander call, but man, I got to side with Hoop. I'm not on Patrick Reed, but you made valid points. I can't argue against those at all, Uncle T. Hoop, take us down to the 9K range. What are you seeing down here?
To me, it's very clear. It's the bottom of this range that is very appealing. 9.8 for Harris English. Like, I like Harris English. You're probably going to have a solid year. 9.8, I'm going to find a way to get up to like Xander or somebody. I'm just not going to settle 9.8. Sungjae, he's been fine. I mean, T12 last week, but Bomber's course is not really the spot I want to necessarily be on. Sungjae. The next 3 guys, though, besides Brooks, I'm not going to Brooks either. Like, it hasn't been good. He didn't look good that last week. Missed the cut. Just not doing it at this event. Hovland, Matsuyama, Wolf. I like all 3 of those guys. First off, Matsuyama 9.2. He's you look at him at 9.2 and Finau's at 10.7. There's not a $1,500 difference in their games. Like, to me, they're comparable guys in terms of what you can expect week to week DFS wise. $1,500 difference between Finau and Matsuyama, 2 of my favorite guys to roster. I'm going to be on Matsuyama. This is a course that I think he can definitely play well at. Hovland, 9.3. I like him. Your boy Matty Wolf at 9.1. I also like Scheffler. Scheffler's an interesting one because he was very popular last week, burned a ton of people. Uncle T talked about the iron change that, really wasn't public. No one knew about it. I don't know. Like, he's the guy I'm struggling with in tournaments. So I'm curious to get your guys' take on Scheffler and what you guys think that the right move is on him. But I really like Hovland. I really like Matsuyama. And I really like Matty Wolf. 9.3, 9.2, 9.1 are their price tags. You have a lot of flexibility when you go to these guys.
Yeah, I'm never going to complain with Matty Wolf. I mean, the dude
Matty Wolf, baby.
Man, he can absolutely play. T21 here last year too. I mean, that's super impressive in his debut. Love those calls. And the guy I was waiting to hear was, what are you doing with Hideki? So I like him this week too. I love that you're on him. I'll be looking to see where he's at on that cash chart too.
He'll be on there. Don't we worry. He's going to have a nice prime spot on there, and it might have a highlight along with it.
Uncle T, who do you like in this range, man?
Yeah, before
are you? So I got a little sidetracked because when Hoop brought up BK Brooks Koepka, man, that picture you sent me right before we got onto the show, I was a little distracted. So she's putting a little fruit in his mouth, wearing a little, very skimpy little outfit. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I said I can't imagine that guy being ready to play golf this week. But anyway, before I get to my thoughts on this range, I got my boy Snyder hanging out in the chat, and he says he loves it, Uncle T. So I think he might be either on board with Shoffley or Patty Reed. I'm not sure, but hey, Snyder does a great job with our playbook, by the way. Just a little plug. Does a great job on the weekend, all 4 days, putting some great content out there for everybody for each of the individual rounds. But
He said he loves it. You didn't mention Maverick McNeely yet, did you?
That's right.
That's Snyder's boy. Snyder loves himself some McNeely.
Yes, he does. But hey, after me and Hoop disagreed a little bit on the top range, we are in full agreement on this range. You hit on all three guys that I liked. I'll start at the bottom with Scheffler. Again, he was my pick to win last week. He did let me down. He hadn't played in a while, came back, he had the new irons, did not look good. Again, 9K, a little bit less than what he was last week, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And the reason I can't do it is because of the guys above him, Hovland, Matsuyama, Wolf. I'm going to play all three of these guys. And again, it's one of the reasons why I'm a little bit lighter on that 10K and up range. I just like these guys a lot. Matsuyama is probably my favorite guy out of the group. Great course history. I think he's starting to he went through there towards the end of the fall swing where he, struggled a little bit for Hideki's standards, and he really got it back on a little bit. And another thing too, guys, is he plays the tough courses well. You know what I mean? He doesn't usually win those birdie fest. I like him when it's a grinder course, and this is definitely going to be a grinder course. While 15 under won it last year with Leishman, I think this could be in that 10, 11, 12 under range as far as who wins this tournament. And again, you got to grind some pars, some tough pars. I think Hideki is a guy for that. Another guy is Hovland, like you mentioned. Just a solid ball striker. Hasn't played in a while, and I think he's going to come in fresh. And then Matty Wolff. So he came off the layoff a little bit last week. He disappointed. Don't mind at all coming right back to Matty Wolff. So for me, I like all three of the same guys in this range.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. And I'm on the same players that you mentioned, but I'll throw one little twist in there. For me, it comes down to roster construction. So like if I'm starting my build with Rahm or Rory, if I started with Rahm and I throw Matt Wolff in there, I got 7.4K on DraftKings left. So I only can fit one of them. That's one of the issues. So I'm going to have to pick and choose. So like when I'm making lineups, I'll have a Rahm, Matsuyama, I'll have a, Rory, Wolff, or Rory, Matsuyama. And that's kind of the path I'm going to go down. And then it's going to force me to really have one true like 7K guy, maybe a upper 6K range guy. We will see. But I'm not playing Brooks Koepka either. I'm not playing Sung Jae, not playing Harris English. I just think you're getting a nice discount on the three, studs in Wolff, Matsuyama, and Hovland. You get a nice discount. They all have the same, if not more, upside at a course like this than Sung Jae and Harris English. And probably Brooks Koepka, considering the form he's in. So I agree with you guys there. I think if I had to choose one in this range, I got to go with my guy, Matt Wolff. Let's, since we're getting down to these other range, give me your top guy. If you only could pick one, Hoop, who would it be?
For tournaments, I think it's definitely going to be Hovland. He's showing us the win upside. He can go out and compete with the big boys. 9.3 price tag is very fair. So for me, it's going to be Hovland. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate in general.
I like that. Uncle T, who is your one? If you can only pick one guy in this range, who's it going to be?
Yeah, Hoop, I like the Hovland call, and he also goes out early Thursday morning. So again, tee times hit late this afternoon. So we're really wanting to probably hone in on those Thursday morning North Course guys, and Hovland is one of those guys. So I definitely agree with you there, but I'm going to side a little bit slightly with Hideki Matsuyama for me.
I like it. All right, let's get down to the 8K range. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's going to help us out a ton. And if you are not a member and if you want to come check us out, we're going to have a ton of Super Bowl content leading up to the Super Bowl, the big game. We got Tom Brady against the GOAT, the other GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. He'll be the GOAT someday. As much as I want to say it, Tom Brady's the GOAT, man. It's impressive what he's doing.
The real question, not to cut you off, is the Niehaus family going to continue to bet against the up and coming GOAT? I mean, these guys can't resist Uncle T and his nephew. I mean, just week after week.
I got nothing. I think I'm taking the Chiefs probably. I can't bet Brady. I can't do it.
Yeah, real quick, just a real quick pause in the golf. I think everyone is going to be fine with this. Hoop, sports betting is legal in Michigan now. Are you going to be
Yep.
loading up on this game, or what are you going to be doing, man?
I'm already in deep on the Chiefs, and I'm gonna continue to fire. I mean, honestly, to me, I think, it's right now it's 3.5. I think that number, I think it's about 3 points light, to be honest with you. I think they should be about a touchdown favorite. I just think they're really good. The Bucs, I mean, they're fortunate. I mean, not discrediting their wins, but they went up against Drew Brees, Drew Brees played like probably the worst quarterback in the NFL in that game. Last week, I mean, against the Packers, I don't know. It was kind of a fluky game in general. So I just don't. I'm not discrediting what the Bucs have done. They played well. Their defense played well. I just think the Chiefs, man, are on a different level than every single team in football. So I'm on the Chiefs big time.
I love when people say like square money versus sharp money and how the
Yeah.
Chiefs is the square money. Dude, sign me up all in on the square
Yeah.
money for the Super Bowl. I already feel like I can count the money. Back to golf. Let's move on to this 8K range. Let's go over to you, Hoop. Talk to me about this range.
Not my favorite range. I'm going to really focus on, those 9K guys, that we talked about. I love Hovland, Matsuyama, and Wolf. So this upper 8K range for me is pretty much a dead range. Like Siwoo, not going back to him after the win last week. He's one of those guys that I talked about that's been playing recently and got a big price boob. Price boob? I mean, where's my mind? Price bump. We got a big price bump. Big price bump. Not going to him. Bubba Watson has the course history. People are going to be on him. He's always played pretty well here. I'd rather find the money to get up to that low 9 range that we talked about. Leishman at 8.7. Like Leishman last year, we were paying like low 7s for him. He was so bad. Now 8.7. No thanks. I haven't been playing day. Not going to play Smith. The first name I have interest in is Ryan Palmer at 8.4. He's been playing well. Really good course history here. The numbers are T2, T13, T21 in his last 3 appearances here. So I'm going to be on Ryan Palmer. I like him. Adam Scott, I think I'm going to play him. I mean, 8.3. I mean, that's a moderate price tag. It's not going to do too much damage to my salary cap. I'll be in on him. The other guy I like, Zalatoris, 8.11K. I think he makes some big leaps this year. Finau, Oosthuizen, or not Finau, Fowler, Oosthuizen, no thank you. So for me in this range, it's going to be Palmer. It's going to be Adam Scott. It's going to be Zalatoris. But I mean, honestly, this range, I'm going to be on those guys, but not with a big ownership number. I'm going to play them. I'm not loving this range all that much. I mean, those are the 3 guys I like, but it's going to be a low owned range for me in terms of overall ownership.
Yeah, I have to agree, and I don't want to agree with you guys every single range that we get into, but the top range here is pretty gross. Yeah. Uncle T, I mean, are you playing like Mark Leishman at 8.7? Are you playing Siwoo at 8.9 coming off that win? I mean, what are you doing here?
Yeah, you picked the 2 guys out that I'm definitely not playing. However, again, not that, it's going to kind of be the theme of the show. And again, we look at it from, different angles. That's why it's fun to do these shows with you guys is, from a cash perspective or tournament perspective or how your roster construction is. Again, for me, I like this range a lot. And I don't like Kim or Leishman for the reasons you guys mentioned, but I do like Bubba Watson. The reason I like Bubba Watson is I think he's safe this week. He's rested. And I play Bubba Watson on Bubba Watson courses. There's 4 or 5 out there on the tour schedule. And, he's one of the guys that more so than any other player, I think, when he finds a course that he likes, he does. He crushes it every time. And I know he's had a layoff, hasn't played since I guess the Masters. So he's had quite a bit of layoff, but I like him. He hits it out there a long way. And, he's good on his approach, especially at courses like this where they're tougher to hit the green. So I like Watson. I'm going to be on Jason Day, boys. He's a long hitter. Again, I know, I told you we're going to have some disagreements tonight and I like it. But Jason Day, I think he's won it twice here. Had a good fall into the season, took some time off. No reason not to play Jason Day. Only 8,600. So sign me up. I'm out on Cam Smith. I'm probably out on Ryan Palmer, but not because I don't like him. I think he's going to be by far the highest owned of this group. And if I'm going to go up and play possibly Hideki, I don't know if I want to have two of the higher owned guys in those tiers. So I'm not really sure what to do with Palmer yet. But my favorite guy in the group is Adam Scott. When I looked at the pricing initially, I think actually he's the guy that I think is the most underpriced on the slate. I think he could be 88, 89, even 9K, and I would seriously think about playing him. So I think at $8,300, he finished here at T2 in 2019. And again, he fits the mold, hits it a long way, good with his irons. If he can get that I don't know if he's got the broomstick or if he's got the shorter putter this week. I didn't check, but if he can get anything done on the greens, Adam Scott is well capable of coming out here with a win on Sunday. So I like him. I love the Zalatoris call. The only thing, I think he's getting quite a bit of buzz the last couple of days, and I'm not sure if I like that or not. I like guys kind of coming in off, under the radar a little bit. But yeah, he's, again, another value guy. $8,100 for Zalatoris on this course. Again, I like him. And then out on Ustays, and then obviously out on Fowler. I don't know that I'd play Fowler if he was probably 6,800, 6,900. I just don't think I would do it. So for me in this range, Adam Scott for sure, number one, and then probably Bubba number two with a close third with Jason Day.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky, I didn't even know he was in this range. I got my sheet up right now, and I glanced over him. I think we saw his ceiling last week. Like, he played as good as he possibly could have, and that resulted in a T21 finish. I mean, this dude, like, he looked like it was like his ceiling. And so that's if your ceiling is, and it might not be a ceiling, it's golf. The guy, might get another top 10 here this year, maybe a top 5, might get a win. Probably not a win. I would definitely bet against that. But, man, it just does not look good for him. I like a lot of those mentions. Uncle T, our boy Snyder, is with you on Bubba. I was talking to him. He helps me out with the playbook. Helps us all out with the main playbook. And he likes Bubba too. So I can definitely get on board with that. I'm going to give you guys kind of the pivot that I really like in this range, and that's Billy Horschel. Good course history here. He's got this like zigzag going on where, so he's made 5 straight cuts, T68, then a T8, then he had 2, T54, T64, then he had a T8. Maybe he zigzags and brings in that good form that he has right now, coming off a 7th at the Sony, T24, T5, a bunch of made cuts all in a row. And maybe he bags another top 10. He's done that 2 out of the last 5 years. So I think he's a guy that goes under owned because you got the name and Adam Scott. You got Ryan Palmer, who has, really good course history here and who's in really good form. And then you got Will Zalatoris, who is another guy I like. This dude just makes cuts. He's made what? The last 21 out of 22 cuts or something like that. Like, the guy just doesn't miss cuts. So for me, I feel like Billy Horschel is going to be the guy that gets left out. And if I play him, so I'm just looking at from a roster construction standpoint. So if I play, Rory, like I'm locking in a Rory, then my guy, Matty Wolf. And then if I play Billy Horschel, I still got a little over 7,200 left per position. So I don't have to punt. I just need to find some good 7K guy players. And I feel like that's going to be the path this week in tournaments. And I feel very confident about that. So my one in this range is going to be Billy Horschel. Uncle T, if you could only pick one, who's going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be Adam Scott for sure for me. And he's borderline a core play. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with my cores yet. But yeah, he could make my core team as well.
Hoop. Who's the one in this range?
I'm going to be in agreement with Uncle T. It's going to be Adam Scott for me. And I agree with, I think what he said it perfectly. Like, he's a guy that if he was $700, $800 more expensive, we're probably still going to consider him. I mean, it's a nice price break. You look at the names around him, and it's just, he's typically not in this range. He's typically in the range up there around Bubba, around Wolf, a little bit lower than Matsuyama. he's offering a big price discount, and he hasn't been bad. And I think he's a really, really strong play this week.
Yeah, I could definitely get on board with that. Again, if you haven't done so, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you weren't aware, we have partnered with Monkey Knife Fight. Go over to Monkey Knife Fight, use the code RUNPURE. And if you do so and you're a new subscriber over there, you can get 100% match up to $50. Then make sure you sign up with us. Use that code Workbench21. It's going to give you a nice 25% discount on your first payment with us. And we have Monkey Knife Fight content in our Discord. And we're coming out with other Discord channels. And soon we'll have prize picks. And then we got bets in Discord. I mean, Discord's where it's at. And if you're not in there, you're definitely missing out, especially during NBA season. Like right now, we have so many sharp people in chat, members and coordinators. K Falick, JSU's in there, BigT's in there. I mean, man, up to lock. There's just so much news that's hitting. I mean, take tonight, for example. Like the Clippers are without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and Pat Bev. It's like, what do you do? We got all the answers in there. If you haven't checked it out, use that code Workbench21, and we'll get you set on the right path. Let's break this 7K range up like we normally do. Hoop, talk to me about the 7.5 to 7.9K range.
Yeah, I mean, this is where things get exciting for me because it's a lot of my guys, a lot of hoops boys that are down here, and it starts right at the top. Cameron Davis. I mean, he's been playing solid golf. I mean, he's treated us well, coming off a third place last week. We talked about him on the show. We all kind of liked him. I'm fine going right back to him. I think he's a good golfer. 7.9K, so I'm going to be on him. In tournaments, anytime we're at a Bombers course, I think Cameron Champ becomes a play. And he's 7.9K. Wouldn't play him in cash games, but in tournaments, I think he's got the upside we're looking to. Gary Woodland looked pretty good last week. And he's a guy, bad season last year. And a lot of guys kind of did, whether it was, related to the shift in the schedule or whatnot. I have no idea. But Woodland at 7.8K, I'm going to take some shots on him and hope maybe that he's back because he was a world-class golfer not too long ago. 7.8K, I'm on him. Corey Connor, I mean, I'm going to have a problem here because I like a lot of these guys. Corey Connors, 7.7K. He was golfing really well to end last season. Be curious to see if he picks up where he left off, but at 7.7, he's going to be in my player pool. Kokrak's going to be in my player pool. I'm fine going back to Sammy Burns. I mean, Sammy Burns burned us, for the lack of better terms there. He burned us last week. Sucked in that first round, but bounced back nicely with the 66. I mean, too little, too late, obviously. Opened up with the 77. But I'm going to be back on him this week. I like him. And then the last guy that I have interest in is Charles Howell III, 7.5K. I believe he has good course history here. Uncle T can verify that for me. But at 7.5K, I like Charles Howell as well. This is a range that I'm very excited to get some exposure to, though.
Man, I agree with you. And before I kick it to Uncle T, I got to give our guy, the 200K winner, Mr. Bobby Gomes, credit. When he was talking about Gary Woodland last week, and he was doing it from a game theory perspective, which I 100% respect. And I had to cut him off because I'm watching golf week after week, and I've seen this guy, how terrible he's been. Look, the time off helped this guy. He looked phenomenal. He looked really good last week. And shout out to Bobby Gomes bringing the game theory into the video, because Gary Woodland did very well last week, a T16 finish. Uncle T, talk to me about this range. Are you on the same guys as Hoop?
Yeah, pretty much the same. A few of the same guys for sure. Cam Davis. He treated me well last week as well. Like Hoop mentioned, we were kind of all on him on his show last week, and he was on that team that I got to 4 of 6 through. That was able to get a nice cash back. So don't mind him at all. And actually, Cam Davis is one of those guys too that when he's playing well, you want to stay riding him. You know what I mean? When he builds that confidence, and you say that about a lot of guys, but I think even more so Cam Davis, when he gets on that nice run, you want to kind of run the string out with him. So I don't mind him at all. Cam Champ, I'm probably going to be out on. I agree with your thought process on the bomber, course with him, Hoop. 8,900 last week. He had the price bump last week, disappointed with the miscut. He drops back down 1,000 to 7,900. I just like too many other guys in this range, so I'm going to pass on him. Frankie Molinari here, Francesco, he's interesting to me. I had him a couple weeks ago when he started out. He had the miscut. I can't remember what tournament it was. He had the T10 or top 10 this past week. I just don't know. I'm going to need to probably see a little bit more consistent form before I go to Molinari. But guys, I agree with you 100% on Woodland. One of the reasons last year he did struggle, it wasn't really due to COVID. He was battling through injuries on and off all season long was Woodland. I think he dropped some weight. And then last week, guys, he put in the Cobra driver, a new Cobra driver, went away from the, I think went back and forth with TaylorMade and also Ping driver last year. So put a new Cobra driver in the bag last week and he played beautifully. So, it's $7,800, to go right back to Woodland on a course again, that he hits a lot of fairways, a good driver of the golf ball. He's one of my favorite plays on the board this week. And, he's going to come in maybe 16, 17% owned, which, there's nothing wrong with that. So I like him a lot. No disagreement on Corey Connors. Hasn't teed it up since the first week of December. So clearly he's rested and has been playing good. I don't think I can go to Kokrak, and Burns got me last week, so I'm out probably on him. Taylor Gooch is the next guy that looks interesting. At down there at $7,600. He's usually a boomer bust guy. He'll miss the cut or he'll finish anywhere in that 18 to 25 range. And at 7,600, if you give me a top 20 at that price, I'll take it. So I don't mind him. Clearly we're out on Jordan Spieth. I just can't imagine, again, similar to Ricky, I just can't imagine playing him. The next guy I'll go to that I like a lot is who Hoop mentioned, Charles Howell III. Again, he's another one of those guys that I probably think he's maybe $300, $400, $500 cheaper than I thought he would be. I thought he'd be up in that. If you were to switch him with Ricky Fowler right now, I don't think any of the three of us would disagree with that. And I would probably be tempted to play him up there with Ricky Fowler. So I like him. He's got 4 out of the last 5 years. He's finished in the top 20 here at Torrey. And he's one of those guys that isn't normally going to win a Birdie Fest tournament, but he's a guy that grinds. He's a guy like Xander, like Hideki. They seem to play the tougher courses pretty good. So I like Charles Howell III, and that's about as far as I'll go. I thought about Benny on, but I just can't do it. He had a couple good rounds last week, and then finished 8th place, but never really got in the hunt on Sunday.
So can we just go ahead and lock Gary Woodland in as the workbench play of the day in the playbook? So like, here's the thing with Gary and what I've been looking for. This guy historically has been money off the tee, and he is one of the best approach game players on tour. During that stretch where he sucked, he was not gaining any strokes off the tee, which was like a huge concern. Like if you go back and look at it, there was only, like, if you look at last year, 2020, I think there was only like 3 events, maybe two or 3 events where he gained strokes off the tee. So like that was my main issue with him. Last week, 3 strokes, gained another 1.5 on approach. He's always struggled around the greens, especially in the sand. He's not a good sand player, but he's very good off the tee, very good on approach, and an above average putter. We saw all of those things last week. That's what I needed to see. And he gained almost 8 strokes on the field. I think, I think he's going to get some traction. That's just kind of how DFS is these days. People are going to see those signs that we all spotted, and they're going to get on him. I want to make sure I'm really overweight on him. And when I talk about starting with Rahm and Rory, I'm definitely going to make sure Woodland is paired. I might just lock him in and go 100% because, like, I'm going to mix and match in that 9K range. And so I'm going to need to lock in one of these guys. I could definitely see Gary Woodland being the guy I got to take a stand on because I don't want a massive player pool. That's just not an optimal approach when you're multi-entering. You do not want to be one of those guys. If you're a 150 player and you got like a 70 player pool player pool of players, that is just not the approach at all, in my opinion, at least. Okay, so like I know none of us really dabble in the 150, but like I know Hoop, you do time from time. Like,
Yeah.
what is your ideal player pool range when you're building?
So for me, when I 150, especially in a sport like golf, if I'm making like 20 teams, I don't want to go like all in. But if I'm 150 going for those big, top heavy prize pools, I want to go all in spots I feel good about. So, taking a stand on Woodland, getting obviously way, way above the field. I always, whenever, for some reason in golf, I don't know if it's right or wrong. It might be wrong, but for me, I like to lock one guy in. Like over the summer, the event at, was it the Rocket Mortgage with Bryson? We knew Bryson was going to be popular. 100%. I'm just playing him in all my teams and moving on. So guys that I feel good about, I love locking in on all 150 in PGA.
Yeah, I think it's a sound approach. So my one this week, and I love those other guys that you mentioned. I agree with Hoop and Uncle T that this range is completely stacked. The one guy we all, none of us are playing at all, and we just laugh at is Jordan Spieth. He'll be the first guy on the fade list, along with his buddy Ricky Fowler. Clear fades for us. We are never playing those two guys. I mean, yeah, we're just not playing them. The other guys are definitely all in play. My one is Woodland. Workbench play, good course history, looked phenomenal last week. That's what I'm rolling with. Uncle T, who's your one in this range?
Yeah, just a quick capper on Woodland. And another thing, guys, I think we may be proven wrong. Obviously, it's DFS. Anything can happen. I think we could be clearly buying in low on Woodland, right? Because like for the points you guys both mentioned, he's $7,800. I wouldn't be a bit surprised in 4 weeks from now or so, 3-4 weeks from now, a month, that he's in that mid to upper 8K range. So I do think we're getting some value in buying in low on Woodland. Now let's hope he don't let us down. But for me, it's definitely Woodland number one, and honestly number two. I'd either go Cam Davis or Charles Howell the third. I like both of them, so I'll give both of them out.
I like that. Hoop, who's your one in this range?
Well, I mean, I think we all agree with Woodland, so I won't throw him out there. But Howell the third, I really like, and then Connors. I mean, Connors was really good to end last season. Like he was really good on all sorts of tracks. Like it wasn't just like bomber tracks or precision courses. He was good all over the place. And 7-7, I really like him this week.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Let's go to the lower 7K range. I'm going to keep it with you, Hoop. Break it down for me. Yeah,
so mid 7 range, like 7-4. I'm not liking a lot of these guys in the 7-4, 7-3. You get down here a little bit lower. This is where I have some interest. Like Doug Gim, we talked about it last week. He was very popular 2 weeks ago. Screwed everybody, missed the cut. We said we'd like going back to him. He rewarded us. I mean, a top 5 last week. Take that for sure at his price tag. So I'm willing to go back to him. I think he's a good golfer with upside. And when he's on, he's really on. He's not just a guy that's, kind of just getting by that cut line and, staying towards the bottom. Like he can get in contention a little bit, top 20s and stuff, not out of the question. So I will be back on him. Doc Redman is a guy it's been rough with him and he's been bad. He did make the cut last week. I believe it was like right on the number and then sucked over the weekend. I don't know. I think he's a good golfer. I'm going to take a shot on him. He shouldn't be all that highly owned. So, not a guy that you have to allocate a ton of ownership to, but at 7.1K, I'm going to be on him. John Huh is a guy that's been playing really, really good golf. T19, T48, T12, T20, T21. He's 7K. I'm gonna go back to him, and I'm not worried. I don't think he'll be all that highly owned, but I'm gonna be on him at 7K. Harold Varner III is the last guy in this range that I have interest in. Kind of similar to Redmond. Two guys that last year were much better than these price tags. The 7-1 on Redmond. 7K on Varner. That's reflective of how poorly they've played recently. I'm going to take some chances on these guys in tournaments. At the end of last season, if Harold Varner is 7K, Doc Redmond 7.1K in this same field, they would be massive, massive chalk. And it's just not the case because of how poorly they've been playing lately. So I do like those guys in tournaments. And it's not like you have to make a big stand and allocate a ton of ownership to them. you can get way over the field, I think, with a relatively low number. So those are the kind of the 3-4 guys that I like down here.
I like it. And I feel like in this range, I got our guy who's gonna help us win our tournaments. Hopefully Uncle T's not on him. I don't think I heard you mention him, Hoop, but I do like a lot of the plays that you did mention. Real quick, because I was clicking to make sure I had my right guys up. Did you say you were on Gim or not on him?
On him, yeah, on him.
On him?
Like
Okay.
I said, yeah,
Yep.
like he screwed us 2 weeks ago. We said to kind of stay on him last week, and a T5. And he's a guy, like I said, if he makes the cut, like he can get up there. He's not like a cheap dude that just passes by the cut line and kind of sucks over the weekend. Like he can make birdies. He can get up there on the leaderboard. So I definitely like him at 7-2.
And, real quick before I pass it to Uncle T, I know Snyder's watching. I know he's in chat. Snyder, don't get excited. My guy that I'm going to mention is not Maverick McNeely. I promise you that. We'll leave him to you. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Uncle T, talk to me about this range, man. Who's going to win it for us?
Yeah, definitely going to leave McNeely to Snyder. But, so I agree with Hoop, though, because, of the plays that we mentioned earlier in the show, this isn't going to really be a range where I'm going to fall, too highly with many plays. But the one guy I do like at 7,400 is Max Homa. He's played well the first couple tournaments of the year here. And I think he went on record to say that he went with working with someone with his putting quite a bit over the Christmas break, and he's putted a lot better. And again, he's a decent ball striker. On a course, he finished here T9 last year. I don't mind Max Homa, but as you go down through the bottom of the bottom of this 7K range, I mean, you got to get all the way down. I agree with you on Gim. I don't mind a little bit of James Hahn. He's popping just a little bit for me. He also goes out early on Thursday. So again, I'm going to target some guys that I think I like. And if they're going out Thursday morning, especially in this range, I might take more of a shot on them guys than I normally would and try to, again, Thursday morning, it's going to be pretty good weather. And then as the day goes on Thursday, you're going to get winds, 14, 15 up to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon on Thursday. So for me, I'm going to try to target a few more of those guys. But as you go down, Sepp Straka kind of, he kind of really let people down last week, including me. I had quite a bit of Sepp Straka, and he laid an egg. I agree with you on Doc Redman. It's like I can't quite figure out what to do with Doc Redman. We all like Doc Redman as a player, just hasn't quite put it all together. And you go down, John Huzz, the guy I probably like the most. I think Tee to Green last week, he was number 1 in the field. Tee to Green, good ball striker. I think the week before he was T8 in Tee to Green. So again, what's not to like? He's 7K. So I got him around 7% ownership. So for me, I totally agree with Hoop on John Huh. And that's probably about it. I don't mind maybe a sprinkle of Cameron Tringali because he's, again, another guy that he's a plotter. He makes a lot of cuts, doesn't have a lot of real high finishes. But again, at 7K, you get a guy that can make the cut, maybe finish, 30th or so at 7K as maybe a last piece. Don't mind Cameron Tringali.
So my guy this week, his approach game usually is what has hurt him, especially earlier in the season last season. But if we look at his game since basically October, this dude is gaining tons of strokes on approach week in and week out. His putter is kind of the question mark. Actually, it definitely is the question mark. He was phenomenal last week with a 16th place finish. It's Russell Knox. He's got good course history here. He's played it 5 times since 2014. He's made the cut 4 out of the 5 times. He's bagged a top 10. And last year, T21 and T43, T29 the year before that. And I got him right around 5% owned. I just think like his approach game is so good. If he can get off the tee and if he can make a couple putts, I think he can improve on his finish last week. I think he gets us a top 10, maybe a top 5 finish. Wow. Him and Gary Woodland might be kind of my flag plants. I need him down in this range, and I'm being very transparent about my build path. I need a 7K play, and Knox is one of them. The other guy I was looking at that was really close was Sepp Straka. I love the fact that he disappointed. He was chalky last week, and rightfully so. He's got a T13 finish here in 2009, missed the cut. Last year, good golfer, really good golfer. But I think I'm going to side with Russell Knox. The other guy I gotta mention is James Hahn. He's treated me really well of late. His game looks good. Been on the last 2 weeks. T41 finish. He had a meltdown at the Sony on Sunday, and T32 last week. I mean, he got through the cut, and didn't matter for me because I had a 4 of 6 in all of my builds, and so I think what's crazy. It was a low 6 of 6 rate. I'm pretty sure I bubbled like almost everything, like with 4 or 6 lineups. So it was pretty painful. I had no Siwoo. But for me, my one in this range is Russell Knox. Uncle T, who's your one in this range?
Yeah, I'm going to go with John Huzz, my number 1, and number 2, Max Homa. Although I did mention James Hahn as well. I like him with you as well, but I'll go with Homa as my number 2 guy.
Yeah, husband. Steady, like super steady, and he's made. Yeah, that's a good play. Definitely like that. Who is your one in this range?
Yeah, it's the one I feel most comfortable with is probably and I like Gim, man. Gim at 7-2 is a guy I'm going to be right back on. So and Gim.
Are we off Doc Redman? You guys think?
I'm on him in tournaments. I threw it out there. Like I said, I mean, the results have not been good like lately. But he's a guy that was solid for a while last season. Yeah. And the price tag's cheaper, 7.1K. I'm not gonna go crazy and play him like 30% or anything, but single digit percentage in MME. I feel good with that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about him is when you listen to PGA, that not DFS podcast, but actual PGA podcast where you're listening to other players talk, they all talk very highly of Doc Redman and how he's a gamer. And I don't like the course fit here. That's, my reason why, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think he's a great tournament play. He'll be very low owned. Let's kick it to the 6K range. I'm going to leave it with you, Hoop. 6K range. Whoo. Like it always gets a little dicey down here. Do we have any plays though?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it definitely gets dicey, and this is a range. It's no secret. I love my 6K guys, but this week it's tough. I mean, the last few weeks, I feel like we've been able to find 5, 6, 7 guys that we feel okay with playing. This week, I don't think that's the case, and the first guy I'll mention is Luke List, tournament play. He has some upside, T21 last week. He can bomb it out there. So Luke List at 6.8K is a guy that I have some interest in. Come down a little bit. I mean, a guy I've been on quite a bit, honestly, for like the last year, Richie Wierenski. He's 6.7K. Last 2 out of the last 3 events have been T24 or better. I think he's a pretty good golfer. So at 6.7, I'm going to have him in my player pool. Maybe a little Scott Piercy. There's one more name I wanted to mention. Chase Seifert. Chase Seifert at 6.4K. Chase Seifert. We played him a little bit last season. He had a T12 last week, 6.4K. Take a flyer on him, but this is clearly a range that you probably want to avoid for the most part, or just sprinkle plays. Should not be building blocks. Like I said, in the past couple weeks, we've been able to find some guys, and there's certain weeks where you feel comfortable going down here. This is not one of those weeks, unless I'm missing something. Maybe Uncle T or UAP have a different opinion of it, but this is it's a tough range.
Yeah. So like when I was looking at this range, I wanted to play Justin Suh with our boy just for the screenshot. Just for the screenshot factor. But I feel like I might be blowing money doing that. Maybe not. Who knows? The Luke List call. I think that I overlooked them. We got 156 golfers in the field. It's easy to overlook people, and man, great man, played well last week. I'm glad you mentioned that, Hoop. I need like a 6K guy. I can definitely get on board with Luke List. Dude bombs it off the tee, good ball striker. So I love that call. Uncle T, Where you at? Who else is going to win us the money in this range?
Yeah, don't mind the Luke List call. I had him marked here. He went through just a terrible stretch during the fall and was missing cut after cut after cut, not even really near the cut line. But I agree. He played well last week, and similar to not in talent, but similar to maybe Gary Woodland, played well last week. Both hit the ball long off the tee. Maybe we can catch him on a hot streak. So again, down there at 6,800, definitely don't mind Luke List. But as you go down, I'm probably going to go back to Kevin Streelman. Again, there's just not a whole lot to like down here. None of these guys are going to be, cornerstones of my team this week. They're going to be, added pieces at the end, like Hoop mentioned. A guy that's interesting, guys, that we haven't seen in quite a bit. I think I had it marked here. I think he hasn't played since the Shriners in October, but he has great course history. JB Holmes. Now, again, it would be a total GPP play for sure. A total flyer. Great course history. Loves this course. Hits it long off the tee, but you just don't know what you're going to get. He's been off for almost 3 months, but he's definitely just interesting. As I was doing my analysis to think, he's going to clearly come in at probably 2-3% owned or so. So I kind of had him earmarked as another piece. The guy I really like down here at 6,800 is Kramer Hickok. I mean, he's a guy that is a great strokes gained off the tee guy. It's been playing well lately. Finished T21 last week, T19 the week before. And again, when we're looking for value down here at all, you have to hang your hat on something. And if it's not course history, recent form has to be another thing we look at. So I don't mind Kramer Hickok. And I think I had one more down here. I don't mind the Rowinski call. I'm kind of on him quite a bit. And another guy, the last guy I'll mention is Scott Stallings at 6,600. Seems to be a guy that makes a lot of cuts that, might be able to get as a top 30, top 35 or so down there at $6,600.
Yeah, no, I love those calls. For me, one thing in this range that I'm starting to look out for, I got to give our guy Coop, who does our write-ups and articles each week and provides scores with us. He's one of he's our lead NASCAR guy and one of our lead PGA guys. One of the things is down in this range, it's easy to get sucked into guys who were coming off a top 10 in the previous year. Hogue and Harry Higgs are two that pop out that I think could get some traction because they both posted top 10s last year. And it's so hard to go back to back. So for me, I'm just removing those guys from my player pool. I'm not going to play them. It's just very difficult. If you go and look, rarely does anyone in this range ever go back to back, top 10s at courses like this. I would rather take a shot on a guy like Kevin Streelman. Made the cut, T45 last year, and then missed the cut the previous year. Very good golfer. I would much rather pivot to a guy like him over a guy like Harry Higgs, and they're the same price. And honestly, I think Streelman's game is much better for this course. He's a guy like I didn't have Luke List click, but now I got him clicked. JD Holmes for me, God, man, nothing tilts me more than slow golfers when I'm out on the course. I'm not good at all. I think I'm like a 13 or 14 index. I mean, Uncle T, if you and Big T come and play me and Snyder, you guys would probably smoke us. I know Big T's a good golfer.
I missed that. I was checking it, looking in here at chat with G Risen and this Kevin guy. But what would you mention? You're what handicap?
I think a 13 index. I think it's like a 13.
You and I are pretty good. I'm probably about a 12 right now when I finished up the year. So you and I are pretty equal.
I feel like there's no matter how many strokes Big T gives me, he's going to stroke me on the course, and there's no way I win money.
He's probably
very bad at winning money on the golf course.
He's probably about a 5 or so, probably.
Yeah.
How long are you on the shelf though after that elbow surgery?
Well, that's a good point. See, Hoop's always the sharp guy on this. Why is he always going to be the sharp guy on this set? I did not factor the elbow in. I won't be until Mayor's June.
Yep. That's going to be factored in when we get together, though. Big T's going to be, remember that elbow problem you had a year ago? Still has an issue.
I'll take 2 aside. You can give me 2 aside.
So for me, Kevin Streelman's going to be one of my guys. It feels safe, and I don't think anyone down here is going to be that. heavily owned. I love the Werwinski call. Nothing looks good about him except for the T21 finish last week. And this guy just pops. No one ever plays him. And I've seen you ship a ton of money by playing him. So I'm going to add him to my pool. Just going down. I mean, so Christopher Ventura was a thing. This is a dude that, he played with Hovland and those guys, I believe. And he got talked up a lot last year and just completely fell off the map. Do you guys have any faith in the talent? I mean, I know the guy has talent. They all talk very highly of him. No one's going to play him this week. He looks bad. He's not going to pop on models or anything like that. So it's a bet on talent play, and he's 6,600. Is that a guy that you guys are looking at all?
I'm never really on him. I mean, he's a guy that I know, like you said, people talk about quite a bit, but I haven't seen it. I mean, you look at this game log, cut, T64, cut. No, thank you.
Yeah, I got one more punt I want to mention, guys. Not again, just total punt, $6,400. He's played this course and had 3 top 30s. He's won a tournament in the last 2-3 months. Robert Streb down there at 6,400. I mean, you could do worse if you somehow wanted to pay up 2 studs and needed a low 6K guy. I mean, Robert Streb would probably be my best get. I like the Seifert call down there at 6,400 as well. So one of those 2 guys might be able to be a piece for you if you decide to go a double stud.
Yeah, it gets pretty gross. Maybe the only other guy I would look at, and I might need someone like him, is like a Will Gordon, a guy who can bomb it off the tee. And
I can't go to Gordon. He's just been awful.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Been awful.
And he's not like, T21 finish. That's a good finish. Like you're taking that all day. That's going to be hard for him to back up. So
but I can't. I've tried to make him work a few times in the fall, and if other than the good finish last year here at Torrey, he's really been on a 3-4 month slide where I just can't trust him, even to try to punt with him, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. I think my one is going to be Kevin Streelman. I don't like the 6K range at all. I'm going to try to limit. And honestly, I might just limit my pool to the guys that we mentioned. I definitely can get on board with List and Ruinski and those other guys. Who's your one in this range?
For tournaments, it's Werenski. I mean, he's treated me well. 6.7K is coming off a pretty nice week, so it's Werenski at 6.7K. I
like it, man. Uncle T, what about you?
Yeah, real quick, Kevin in chat is asking about Sung Kang at down there all the way at where was he? 6,200. He had a 16th and a 20 place finish. So again, if you're desperate, you can throw in Sung Kang. I could, again, if you're just going off of that.
He's a George Gankis guy, that's Matty Wolf's coach, so I'm always going to have my eye on Sun K. He's been going through some swing, they're working through some swing stuff. He's a little guy. He's real little, like 5'5" or something like that. He's got that full turn going. If you watch him swing, it's just crazy. And I think he's a little off right now. I know he's been working on that, but he tends to pop at these harder courses, these big boy courses. I think I could get on board with him over Will Gordon. A bet on maybe he's put the work in over the break. Coming off a cut at the Amex. Deep tournament punt. I could get on board with it. I don't think he'll make the playbook though, unless I can make a really, really nice build with him. He just looks so bad. I had to pull up his nothing about his game.
The only thing I'll give you is I would take him over Will Gordon for sure. But again,
all right,
definitely
a
key play.
Hey, in that build that we do, I might throw it in that $100, like 100K.
There you go.
Maybe we throw Sun King in there.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, but for me, my 1 and 2 in this range, definitely Kramer Hickok, number 1. And as bad as he putts, I'm still going to go Luke List. I just think that if he could have an average putting week and drive the ball well on this course, he should definitely make the cut. If he just has an average putting week, if he has an above average putting week, he might be able to get you a top 25 or a top 20 at that price tag.
I like it. All right, guys, let's finish this up. Let's do our winners. So, more of a we'll do just basically, it doesn't matter what the odds are. Who we think we're going to win. And then, one long shot type of guy. Let's try to pull the odds up. Let's go to you, Uncle T.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna drop down quite a bit. Again, it's just because of how my builds are going. I'm not gonna take any of them top guys. I'll leave them guys to you guys. But I'm gonna take Hideki Matsuyama. It's been a while since he's been in the winner's circle, and he's sitting down there at around 30-1. 8th, 9th, 10th price guy. I like Hideki Matsuyama to maybe get it done on a tougher course this week at Torrey Pines. And my lower guy down below, he's maybe about 90, 95-1. Charles Howell III will be my lower end guy.
Yeah, I like those. I like the Hideki one too. For me, I think that might be one to actually throw down a little bit of money on. I just the confirmation with Hoop's comments about Hideki too. So, Hoop, what about you? Who's your guy overall, and then long shot?
Yeah, both my guys are same range as Uncle T's. I mean, my winner, I'm going to go with Hovland. I really like Hovland on this course, 9.3K. I think it's a very fair price tag. I think he takes some big leaps this year. So Hovland at 9.3K, he's probably 20 some to 1 to win. He's my guy. And then I'm going to drop down and I'm going to go Corey Connors. I mean, Connors was really good to end last season. He was contending in some big field events. I think he's another guy that has a good season. So Connors is going to be my, longer shot to win.
Those, and I know, so I'm not going to take the easy road out. I'm not going to say Rahm or Rory. I know we can say whoever, but that's just a little too easy. My guy, Gary Woodland. So, I mean, it's 70-1, but he's my first one. I think he's undervalued. I think he just looked good last week. And, Uncle T, you said it perfect. It's a good buy low spot. For me, I was waiting to, I wanted him to check a few boxes. He did last week. He checked the boxes that I needed to see. I'm hopping on now. I'm not going to wait any longer because he's a stud. My other guy is Russell Knox. I was just looking up his odds, 125-1. Definitely a long shot, but man, you never know. I know it's a tougher field, but 125-1. That's what I'm rolling with. Last thing here, do you guys have any final thoughts? Uncle T, I'll kick it to you.
No, the only thing I'll say is, again, you guys know, like you guys are, I'm a huge golf guy, and I think we're entering that part of the season where it feels like, we start going on the West Coast swing and we make our way eastward. These next 4, 5, 6 weeks, there's some really good tournaments coming up, some really fun tournaments leading into the Masters, and can't wait to sit here with you guys every week and break them down for everybody.
Yeah, that's good. Hoop, what about you? Any final thoughts? Are you focusing, is it a good cash game week, good tournament week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be playing both. I think it's fine for both. I mean, like I said, and you said as well, that cash chart's going to go up tomorrow. It's just kind of some of the better overall plays, value-wise. So I'm going to be playing both. I'm just excited for this event because, it's the first one where you look at the field and say, okay, we have some guys now that are starting to go. Like Uncle T said, this just starts that trend. There's some bigger, nicer events coming up that are going to be very appealing in golf. Man, it's just so good with all those guys in there. So I'm just looking forward to this event and just getting the ball rolling right up to the Masters.
Yeah, great way to finish it. And for me, I think it's a good tournament week. I'm going to be ramping up my volume headed into this week. It's just a good field, one I feel far more comfortable with, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a ton of fun. I think we did a good job tonight, guys. I feel really good about the picks that we're on. I think it's gonna be green screens, and Uncle T, I think we're gonna be shipping some big money. Again, if you haven't done so, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It allows us to keep this free for all of you. If you haven't checked us out, please do so. Use the code Workbench21. It's gonna give you 25% off your first payment with us. For me, AP, Uncle T, and Hoop, we are out of here.